think I came out of the womb talking.
That's most likely.
But that's not always the case. And if you want to communicate with your child at an earlier age, maybe you want to try signing. That's right. Signing in baby style. And Danielle Gaylord is here, who's been an instructor, knows a lot about this because you have 2 children and you use signing to communicate with them at an early age, right?
Yeah, I sure did.
When did you start? Like at what age? Of the children, not you.
Yeah. I started signing with my 2 children about 6 months, just because that's when I first kind of learned about it.
Yeah.
You can start earlier, but I started signing with them at about 6 months.
And what kind of signing were you doing?
Very basic signs at that point. The sign for more, eat. My daughter was obsessed with bananas, so I would sign banana. So anything, just again, very basic, all done, sort of signs that she would want to communicate with me. Yeah.
So it makes figuring out, one of the things parents have trouble with early on especially, is figuring out exactly what your child wants.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? What will make them happiest. And this is a way to go about that.
Absolutely, yeah. It gives them a voice, essentially. They don't have the skills to produce words with their mouths, but they do have the motor dexterity to create signs from a much earlier age. So we're tapping into that natural inclination of babies to use their hands to communicate.
How do parents learn this? Like, what's the process?
Very, very easy to learn. You basically only need a handful of signs to start with. You can learn that anywhere. There are many books, websites. You can learn it on TV shows. But just kind of go on the website and look up a few different signs. And again, all you need is just a few to kind of get you going. You need to use them regularly, like every day, as often as possible. Just like if you were introducing another language, like French, you'd want to immerse them in it as much as possible.
Now, I would liken this to the idea of teaching your pet. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, it's not the same thing, but along the same lines, is it not?
Yeah, I guess you're teaching them a new skill. And the thing is, we are tapping into something that they are physically capable of doing anyways, and we're just kind of...
And inherently the idea to communicate is there.
Yes, for sure.
It just can't come
and
out right away.
And the desire to communicate is there.
Right.
So, and that's kind of the idea behind the Terrible Twos, is that they don't have the ability to communicate with us, but by giving them some signs to communicate, we're kind of jumping over the Terrible Twos.
Well, and a lot of people think the Terrible Twos are part of that frustration of wanting to communicate and not being able to is part of that, right?
For sure, their thoughts are there,
So allowing them to communicate in various other ways can alleviate some of that frustration, I would guess, on both parts.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
What about, I know some of the detractors of this idea have said, well, you're kind of stunting the speech path, as it were, right?
Right.
But I would guess that's the opposite. It seems to me if you're encouraging communication, then that communication will come forward no matter what form it takes.
For sure. And they have done a lot of research on that, and it's shown that babies who sign usually speak much earlier than babies who don't sign. They've understood the back and forth sort of fundamentals of communication from a much earlier age. They understand that things or feelings or abstract concepts have labels because they've been using these labels for up to a year before they're able to actually use them verbally.
Right.
Yeah.
So they have a quicker understanding, quicker grasp on the speech idea, right?
Yeah. No, it's amazing.
Yeah. Contrary to popular belief, by the way, this does not lead to the talking with the hands. Right? Although it may.
It may. Who knows?
You can find out more, right? There's many websites and information available to people.
Absolutely. Signingtime.com, that's the company that I'm kind of affiliated with. And they have a lot of amazing resources. You can contact me for any questions. I'm not teaching classes at the moment, but there are classes out there that are available. And lots of reasources.
Interesting,
Again, you don't have to learn a whole new language. You just have to learn a handful.
Basics.
So don't feel overwhelmed. It's easy to do.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I also think the whole belly casting idea that I've seen is quite fantastic.
It's neat.
We're going to find out more right now with Sarah Fremont. Sarah.